Hey everybody, what is going on? Hexlex here. I got another Master Duel video for you. So, we are coming back to Rescue Ace, and it's definitely a good time to do so now that we have the Sinful Spoils package in the game. Although this does not directly support Rescue Ace, the original Sinful Spoils Snake Eye can special summon any level 1 fire monster from your hand or deck. And it turns out that this deck just so happens to have a level 1 fire monster that it cares very much about. That, of course, being the Rescue Ace Hydrant. So, the Sinful Spoils package coming into the game is definitely a nice bit of consistency boost. But we do have to acknowledge the fact that Rescue Ace does have support yet to come that is not out just yet. Most notably, Preventer and Emergency. The two cards are very important. Preventer allowing for a lot of more variety of like what your end board can look like. And Emergency providing a lot of consistency. So, that said, the consistency boost from the Sinful Spoils package is very much welcome. Here we are playing 3 Wanted. You're pretty much always going to want to play 3 Wanted in literally any deck that has Diabellstar in it. We have 1 copy of original Sinful Spoils Snake Eye, and that's all you need for Rescue Ace is the 1 copy. Now, I'm playing 2 Diabellstar, but if you only have 1, that's all you really technically need to play Diabellstar as a package in Rescue Ace and a lot of other decks. I'm playing a second one just to make our opening of Rescue Ace Hydrant through the Witch into the Sinful Spoils Snake Eye a little bit more consistent, but definitely not needed by any stretch of the imagination. So, this was my first initial build. I actually built it on stream, and I think there are a couple things I would change about it moving forward. Most notably, I, for some reason, just blanked on putting in Droll. I do think that Imperms are not going to be quite as useful as Droll in this format, so I would definitely take these out for Drolls moving forward. The extra deck as well, I forgot something a little important. Although technically not 100% necessary for doing a lot of our deck's combo lines. Excel Synchron, you do ideally need that for dumping the Jet Synchron, but I will say, if you're doing an Auroradon combo line and you're using Diabellstar as part of it, you don't actually need to go into Excel Synchron to set up Herald plus the Boardload Savage Dragon. I can show you how to do that, but it's definitely optimal, and it very much should be in here. As far as what I would take out for it, I don't know. I guess we don't need Celine the most. We also don't need Nightmare Unicorn the most either with like IP and stuff. Could be some combination of that. Celine is good for link climbing with the Diabellstar, but mostly just going into the access code talker. I don't know. It's like there's actually, it's a little difficult what I would cut for the Excel Synchron here. This is probably why I forgot Excel Synchron in the first place, because a lot of these extra cards are already like so good. I guess for the time being, I'll take out Celine, but I could very easily see a world where that's not correct. To me, though, Celine here is really just making climbing into access code with the Diabellstar a little bit easier. So, as you can see, we are also on the Auroradon package, but this deck definitely does not need to be using Auroradon to make plays. In fact, a lot of versions of this deck don't even play Auroradon, but I do really like the Auroradon. It turns basically Airlifter plus any extender into not just Turbulent Set 4, but Herald of the Arclight plus an Omni Negate plus Turbulent Set 4. And again, if you're using the Diabellstar, you don't even need to be playing or go into the Excel Synchron necessarily either. The way to do that, by the way, to go into, like, let's say you do open, when we'll show a game that actually shows this combo line off, it'll be our first game. If you open Airlifter plus Diabellstar, then you can, basically the idea is that you normal summon Airlifter, and then you can add the, the field spell, which will allow you to summon out the Hydrant, and then from there, you can use Diabellstar's effect to summon herself. Well, technically, you would Diabellstar and then pull out the Hydrant and then use the Hydrant to add the Airlifter or so on and so forth. But anyway, long story short, if you have any 2 monsters plus any machine, you can link the 2 non-machine monsters into Barricade Borg Blocker, and then you just link Barricade Borg plus the machine into Auroradon, and you just make plays from there. Again, I'm going to actually show you this combo line in the first duel that we're going to show off here, following the deck profile. But again, you don't even have to play Auroradon like combo line at all in order to use Rescue Ace. So don't feel like you need to be playing all this stuff necessarily. If you weren't on the Auroradon package, then you would just be playing, you know, more generic extra deck stuff. The Promethean Princess is, I think, definitely needed for the extra deck. Like, literally anything that plays fires, which is just a lot of decks nowadays, go figure, should probably have the Promethean Princess as well as the Whale in the extra deck. It just makes sense, you know. You do also need Hita, or if not Hita, like Heat Soul, just some link to link your Airlifter plus Hydrant, just to be able to get your Rescue Ace cards into the graveyard to actually be able to go into Turbulence and set 4. So the big question you're probably asking or wondering is, how good is this deck right now? Because again, it's in a bit of a weird spot. We've seen the TCG and OCG that Rescue Ace with the Sinful Spoil stuff has been tier 1, but that's also been with the Preventer and Emergency, the follow-up Rescue Ace support. Without that support, but with the Sinful Spoil package, see, it solves the problem. It solves Rescue Ace's consistency problem, right? Like I said, it makes getting to Hydrant, the card you always want to see, a lot more easy to do. But it's still, the deck still lacks a lot of those really robust plays a lot of the time. So I think for that reason, I would call Rescue Ace in the current meta tier 3. I'm comfortable saying it's above Rogue, which is where it was at before. I think a lot of people thought really lowly of Rescue Ace, if that's a phrase. I think people didn't think very highly of Rescue Ace before this stuff came out. But here's the thing. The reason that people weren't playing Rescue Ace is because it was expected that support will make this deck good. However, if you chose to play Rescue Ace with only the first wave of support before Sinful Spoil stuff came out, I still think that was a very solid mid-rogue deck. Again, it's just that the reason that people weren't on it is because people were knowing that the deck is going to get better probably a lot sooner and just waiting for that. So they're kind of just not playing it for that reason. So I think if the deck was mid-rogue before, which I do think it is, the consistency boost of the Sinful Engine, I think brings it into lower tier 3. You can make an argument that it's still rogue, like high rogue, and I wouldn't fault you for that. I could definitely see that, but I do think it's enough to push it into tier 3, the nice little power boost it's got. We might even still see a situation where Rescue Ace is underrepresented because people are just waiting for Preventer and Emergency, even though you could play Rescue Ace in the meta right now and still expect to see a good amount of results, a good amount of good results with it, as far as reaching Master or Master 1 or topping a tournament as well. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have to say about the list off the top of my head. Yeah, I can't think of anything else I want to commentate on as far as the list goes right now. So let's go ahead and move over to those games. But before we do, I'm going to break our list down card by card so we all know everything that is in here. We are on 1 Jet Synchron, 3 Rescue Ace Hydrant, 3 Max C, 1 Mecha Phantom Beast O-Lion, 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, 2 Rescue Ace Impulse, 3 Rescue Ace Airlifter, 1 Rescue Ace Fire Attacker, 1 Rescue Ace Fire Engine, 2 Diabell Star the Black Witch, 2 Rescue Ace Turbulence, 1 Nibiru the Primal Being, 1 Reinforcement of the Army, 1 1-for-1, 1 Original Sinful Spoils Snake Eye, 1 Rescue Ace HQ, 2 Called by the Grave, 1 Cross-Eye Designator, 1 Rescue, 2 Alert, 3 Wanted, Seeker of Sinful Spoils. We have 2 Infinite Permanents, 1 Contain, and finally 1 Extinguish. That'll be our main deck. For the extra deck, we are on 1 Herald of the Arclight, 1 Excel Synchron. For the actual games in the video, again, I actually wasn't playing Excel Synchron. I had the, did I already forget what I took out? Celine. I had Celine instead, but I never summoned her, so I don't think I did anyway. Anyway, we were playing 1 F.A. Dawn Dragster, 1 Borlode Savage Dragon, 1 Baron de Fleur, 1 Link Karibo, 1 Hita the Fire Charmer Ablaze, 1 IP Masquerena, 1 Barricade Borg Blocker, 1 Nightmare Unicorn, 1 Mecha Phantom Beast Auroradon, 1 Promethean Princess Bestower of Flames, 1 Amphibious Storm Ship Amblo Whale, yep. 1 Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess, and then finally 1 Access Code Talker. So that'll be it for the list. Let's go ahead and see these duels. Our first game is going to be against Kashtira. We've played against a lot of Kashtira, not just with this deck, but when I was playing Snake Eyes. Just a lot of cash on ladder right now. So yeah, this is going to be the duel that I was talking about in the profile, where I'm going to show you the Auroradon combo line here. We've got Airlifter and Wanted, and we also open Hydrant as well, but this is definitely more than enough what we have right here. Airlifter plus Wanted is enough to do your Auroradon combo line. So here, like I said, though, I did already open the Hydrant, so I'm just going to go ahead and summon that already right now. But if you didn't open Hydrant, you could use the DML Star to set the Original Sin, and then Original Sin can send the Rescue Ace field spell to special summon the Hydrant from your deck there. Yeah, I'm definitely going to call by the Max C, and it definitely makes sending the Max C off the DML Star a lot less painful. I was going to do that either way, because I think having called by for insurance is just a little bit better than hanging on to Max C here. But, yeah, like I said, if they're going to use Max C and I'm going to call by it, that definitely makes going for the Max C discard a lot more feasible there. So like I said, like I mentioned in the profile there, the way to go into Auroradon is to have, you can have any machine plus literally any two other non-machine monsters. As you can see, we linked the Airlifter and the DML Star for the Barricade Borg, and then Barricade Borg and Hydrant, that being 3 links worth of machine monsters, can just go into the Auroradon. Now, from here, I'm going to use the Auroradon to get my tokens and sack off for O-Lion. Now, if I was actually playing Excel Synchron like I should be, as you can see, like I said, I did forget it, then I would sync here and here for the Excel Synchron. Excel Synchron gets to then dump the Jet Synchron directly from the deck there. And you can use Jet Synchron to bring itself back to sync for the Herald of the Arclight. And, oh, and then syncing for the Mecha Phantom Beast will also give you another token. So you bump the Excel Synchron level down by 1 to 4 when you send to the Jet Synchron. Then you can do 4 plus 3 plus 3 is the Baron de Fleur. Again, plus the Jet Synchron you bring back, plus the token makes the Herald of the Arclight. Here, like I said, I forgot Excel Synchron, but because we actually had the Hydrant in our opening hand, and we didn't need to use the original Sinful Spoils, it's not going to end up mattering here. What I'm going to do is send the O-Lion plus the 2 tokens for the Borload Savage Dragon. Borload equips the Auroradon, and then O-Lion effect will give me a token. And then from here, I'm going to flip up the Original Sin. I sent the Rescue Ace HQ here, but I really could have just sent the Auroradon that was equipped to it. Because all Borload needs to Omni-Negate is the 3 counters. It doesn't actually need the card to be equipped. So, but anyway, I've got my 2 Omnis. Now I'm going to drop my Turbulence, and then I can activate Turbulence and then just casually set 4 cards. Oh, also, I want to point this out too, that I should have pointed out sooner. During the draw phase, I should have activated Wanted. I also shouldn't have activated Wanted's effect here. I guess I was hedging and seeing if I drew like a Maxi or an Ash Blossom or something, but I could have saved Wanted for the follow-up turn, added Hydrant. Well, I could have saved, I could have saved the Wanted for the follow-up turn, banished the original Sinful Spoils to add another Hydrant, and then use Wanted to put it back and draw a card, instead of drawing a card now, like I did. But I also should have used Wanted during the draw phase, because that plays around Droll and Lockbird. Droll and Lockbird can't stop something that's used during the draw phase, so if you activate Wanted during the draw phase, then it won't proc the Droll. Now, here, my opponent had the Lava Golem and the Super Poly, which allows them to board break both my Omnis and my Rescue Ace monsters. But thankfully for me, they didn't actually have any amount of follow-up here, despite using the Garura to run itself into the Lava Golem for an extra draw. Alright, Tier Cash is going to mill them 3, and then, yeah, they just conceded at this point. Even though, technically, I don't think they should have conceded here, because I didn't have a Rescue Ace monster to have my Spell and Trap cards be live. But, yeah, I just wanted to show the Auroradon line more than anything else, and we got to do that with this game. So, yay. We have, of course, a few more games to check out. 3 more. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next one. Next game is against Gold Pride Punk. So we're going to be testing out Rescue Ace against good old Gold Pride Punk, which I do still think is a very solid Tier 3 deck in this meta. We're going to be going second this time. But as you can see, we did thankfully open both. Well, actually, we opened the C, the Nib, and the Emperor. Very, very good here. But I was going to start with Normal Summon Xamine and then E-Tele, which is a little bit of an interesting order, but I don't think it's terrible or anything. Anyway, We'll chain the Maxi to the E-Telly. They're going to grab the Wagon. Airlifter is a very, very nice draw here. Again, Airlifter plus Wanted should be a full combo there. Field Spells activating Xayamine is going to add the Sharakusai. But in order to not play into the Maxi, they're just going to overlay for the number 49 Fortune Tune. Which, funnily enough, this deck actually has a bit of a time play. Although I could have just impermed it. I'm thinking about that now. I probably should have just done that. Yeah, I didn't even think about it during the actual duel itself, but I really could have impermed the Fortune Tune, and I would have just been able to win here. Like, I could have gone for an access code OTK. Oh, also, as you can see, I, yet again, did not want it during the draw phase. That's something that you, and I'm mostly telling this to myself, that's something that I really got to watch out for moving forward, is like, you really, really, really want to be... I think we even have a later game where we, once again, do not play the wanted during the draw phase, except we actually get drolled that time, so... Gotta play around that droll. It's everywhere. It's everywhere in this meta, and there's no reason not to play around it. Okay, I end up using... Oh, but the thing is that I'm a Unicorn can't target, because Fortune Tune can't be targeted, so... I really should just imperm the Fortune Tune. That was a huge misplay on my part that I'm seeing here. But anyway, at least if our opponent is gonna, you know, have a Maxi, they waited until this point to actually drop it, so... Also, again, I should not be using the wanted effects this early. I should wait for the follow-up turn to actually use the original Sin effect to add the Hydrant. And then, because wanted can put back a banished or Sinful Spoils spell or trap card as well. So I could have just been doing that, right? Yeah, I mean, in my defense, these were literally my first games right after opening the packs. These games, again, were played on stream as well, so that's why I'm not as keen on spotting these misplays that I'm doing here. But we'll definitely make sure to note looking for these moving forward. Yeah, I don't care if they use Ash Blossom on this Impulse here. That does not matter to me at all. Not even a little bit. Okay, they're going to use Foxy Tune's effect. I'm going to chain the Alert to bring back the Hydrant, because I really want Hydrant on the field for when I use these Rescue spell and trap cards. That way I get the bonus effects as well. Particularly this one here. When my opponent activates Xayamine, I get to use Contain. And this will not only negate Xayamine, but also prevent it from being used as a material for any kind of a summon for the rest of the turn. Which is pretty huge, especially for that card in particular. Like, they're going to Sharakusai and they have to fuse with the Foxy Tune that's in hand in order to summon Rising Carp. And now I'm going to use the Extinguish on the Rising Carp here. And that'll destroy it before it has a chance to use the ability. Grenades gets to come down, and here's Starleon. Now they get to sync for Pep, which looks really scary, because I actually can't out it right now, but... I think they actually end up conceding, yeah, as soon as they activate the effect, because there's not any one card they can get rid of that would be, like, you know, game ending for me. And even if they pass without attacking, right, I can always just battle into their Pep to make my life points lower and then have plays. And then at that point, they're in top deck mode once I answer their Pep. So I think that concede was kind of early from my opponent, though. Like, they should have made me do that. Because here's the thing, right? If they move to battle phase, they get to... Well, they shouldn't have activated the effect. I think that's why they conceded. If they had not activated the effect, what was their life points? Or their life points like 6,100, right? So the difference was 1,900. So they could move to battle phase, bump up by 1,900, pass over to me. I move to battle phase. Pep bumps up another 1,900. So 38 plus 35 is 73. I mean, yeah, I still would have been able to survive by running, like, Turbulence into it. I guess, I think just about any monster at that point, right? Yeah, so I would have been able to out it even if they hadn't activated Pep's effect there. Like, its attack wouldn't have gotten so high that I wouldn't have been not able to crash at all. Anyway, but I think that's why they end up conceding, is they realize that even with Pep, especially after activating the ability, there is still not really any chance for them to feasibly come back here. But let's go ahead and check out the next duel. Okay, this one's going to be against Branded Desia. Definitely eager to... I want to practice a lot of these newer decks more against, like, Branded Despia and Sword Soul and Math Mech. But of course, you know, it being the new meta. Here again, I open one and I don't use it during the draw phase. Don't be like me. Don't make sure you're doing that. Anyway. Here, yeah, just to do as I say, not as I do moment for these games here. I'm definitely gonna make a mental note to try to be more mindful of that moving forward. Excuse me. Alright, we get to call by the Veiler here, so our Hydrant is going to end up resolving, thankfully. But I don't think... It's in my yard. Yeah, I don't know if I'm actually able to go into plays here, though, because, like, I could add Turbulence. No, yeah, I end up adding Airlifter instead, which definitely makes sense, because adding Turbulence doesn't actually get me plays. Oh, duh, you just Airlifter and then add Alert, and then you add Turbulence. I always forget that when Hydrant is on the field, you can actually add, like, anything from deck to hand, so... Yeah, it's just, oh yeah, minor misplay here. Is using Turbulence to banish Hydrant. I definitely should have kept Hydrant in the yard. That was just me not thinking and just misclicking there, but... Because you want to be able to bring back Hydrant with the, Rescue. That way, your field spell, or not your field spell, your, spell and trap cards all have their, like, bonus effects, right? Okay, they're going to Foolish send to the Saronir. Saronir F is going to send to the Branded Fusion. Now they get to use Albion. Pretty obvious they're just setting up the Branded Fusion here. Which, I can't stop them from adding back or activating, but their subsequent summons are not going to be the most threatening in the world here. Yeah, fusing Albaz of Lebellion for Albion Branded. I end up using the Contain here. But I probably should have just destroyed... I don't know. I was thinking about the fact that, well, I don't know, to be fair, yeah. Whether they Lubellion or I destroy it, that Albion's going to end up in the yard either way. So I don't think it's worth stressing out over too much. I will pop that Lubellion before it has a chance to actually set up a branded spell or trap card on the field. We do have Imperm as well, so I will use that against the Albaz. But it's going to use a Super Poly and the last of their resources to make sure that they do end up getting to summon the Mirror Jade here. Alright, Mirror Jade is on the board. I'm going to activate Turbulence's effect, though, to destroy the Mirror Jade. Of course, they always chain it to banish my Turbulence in response, but at the very least, we're going to have to make them work if they really want to keep a Mirror Jade on the field. But Branded is actually going to be able to do the work, because we're reaching their end phase, which is, you know, Branded's main phase 3 here. Cartesia adding itself back. Titaniclad gets a special Quem, sending Brightest Blazing Branded King, which will add itself back to hand. Now, Albion effect will add the Branded and High Spirits, which actually can activate because it's a quick play spell and was added to hand. They're going to reveal Cartesia, sending it and Granganol in order to add a Fallen of Albaz from deck to hand. This will activate the Quem effect in order to allowing them to bring back the Mirror Jade, so I do still have to deal with that on my turn. And yeah, now their turn's over. Again, the good old Branded main phase 3. So I'm going to activate Rescue Ace HQ and put back a bunch of my stuff to get an extra draw here. It's an extra maxi, so it actually doesn't end up doing anything, but... I'm going to use Wanted to add the Diabell star. Diabell pitching the extra C. And we'll, of course, set that original Sinful Spoils back up on the field. Again, if I had just waited on the Wanted Graveyard effect last turn, I could have just added a Hydrant here and still recycled and drawn a card and gotten all my stuff, right? Alright, Mirror Jade's going to activate. I'm going to chain both of my Quick Play spells while I still have the Hydrant on the field. We'll take their Albion. That'll prevent them from summoning it with Quem later in the turn. And then with Alert, I get to add the Turbulence from deck to hand. Mirror Jade is going to end up banishing the Hydrant there, and Quem will end up bringing back the Cartesia. I'll chain the Maxi in response just to get some extra draws here, cycle the C, you know, make it useful. Alright, we get to add Impulse. Once again, I'm still using Wanted on the same turn here. Don't mind me, I'm still learning. Do not mind me, still learning over here. Okay, Rindbrum F gets to activate. That will allow them to bring back the Albaz, and because I'm summoning Turbulence here, they actually get to use the Turbulence as a material with the Albaz. They've already used Titaniclad, but what they're going to summon here is Sprind the Iron Dash Dragon. But we do get to respond with Impulse, so we summon the Fire Engine. It's not like we're out of plays by any means here. Okay, as they summon the Sprint, we get to proc the Fire Engine effect in order to bring out an Airlifter. Now here I'm thinking about linking up to access code and potentially trying to find lethal that way. Okay, we get to Ash the Cartesia effect, or the Grangadal effect, but they're going to chain Cartesia. And they ran out of time. Yeah, our opponent actually just straight up ran out of time there. I wonder what they were going to fusion summon with Cartesia. That was kind of the deciding factor as to whether or not I could have pushed through the board. But we had a lot of stuff on the field. Not only just to battle with, like we had a lot of stuff with a good amount of attack points, but it would not have been too difficult, I think, for us to climb up to like access code and or some amount of other plays too. Maybe Promethean Princess into the Whale, depending on what the board looks like after we battle and what all we need to clear or what we can leave, etc., etc. But we have one more duel to check out. Let's go ahead and see that here. And our final game is against none other than Brigade Zodiac, the deck that started it all for me. For those who don't know, Brigade Zodiac was the very first deck profile I ever posted on the channel. It was my first Master Duel video, and it was the one that ended up kind of like propelling me, I guess, into, you know, getting noticed on YouTube. So here, once again, we're not going to want it during the draw phase like a scrub, and we're going to get punished super hard for it. Wanted to keep this game because it is actually going to be a very nice back and forth against Trizu. But more than anything else, I wanted to really drill it into not only your heads, but also mine. More mine than yours, because you all probably know this by this point. But, like, you gotta want it during the draw phase. If you do it during the main phase, you're just opening yourself up to getting drolled for literally no reason at all. So this game is the big reminder to myself. Flex. Play wanted during the draw phase. Flip your toggle to on every time while you play this deck if you have to. It's actually not a bad idea. Just practice doing that. Just flipping your toggle to on at the start. Or, I don't know, just looking at your hand and seeing if you have wanted. It's like, I don't know. It's so easy to not pay attention during that first bit of the duel and just miss that as the game auto goes through the phases. But no excuses. We gotta just remember to do that. Anyway, I'm going to hang on to this Imperm here and wait for the Fractal effect to summon out a Brigade monster, because I was a little concerned that my opponent might end up going into like an access code OTK, right? So if Fractal was going to banish 3 for Rugal and then link itself and Rugal into a 5300 access code, I want to just, like I said, Imperm the Fractal there. I thought about using the Imperm here, as they're clearly setting up an F0, a UDF, but again, I just decided, I didn't want to get OTK'd, right, more than anything else. Now, it turns out, I looked at their list later, and they're actually not playing Access Code Talker, so had I known that, I would have probably stopped the line going into the UDF. But yeah, I see them use the Fractal effect. Like I said, this is what I've been saving the Imperm for, so I'll just fire it off here. But unfortunately for me, they end up having the Karos anyway, so they still get to banish in order to summon. I don't know why they summoned a Bearbrum here, though. Well, I guess they wanted to keep the materials in the yard. I was like, why would you go for Rugal or maybe even Shurig for more damage? But I guess, yeah, they just want to make Appaloosa, but Bat wanted to battle first. And yeah, Bearbrum adding Revolt doesn't actually do anything here because they have to put a card back anyway, so. Okay, we're dealing with Appaloosa plus the F0, but thankfully the Diabellstar is looking pretty sweet here because Diabellstar, the effect of summon doesn't actually start a chain link, so as long as we don't activate her effect, then we can just move to battle phase and battle over the Appaloosa. And now we only have to deal with one monster in the gate, right? Gonna normal summon Airlifter. F0 will activate to negate and take control. That's fine. I don't really care. I mean, obviously I would have preferred that to have resolved, but, you know. Alright, we're linking for Hita. Gonna use the Hita effect to bring back our opponent's Fractal. Now I get to link climb up to the Promethean Princess, yep, and then the Whale with this line. And I definitely want to do this because the Whale coming out here will have more than 3k attack, and I'm kind of just hoping a monster with more than 3k attack is enough to sit on here for at least a little while. But sure enough, as our opponent goes to draw, Yeah, they just switch their monsters to defense mode and pass it back over to me. Now, unfortunately for me, the UDF cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects, so removing it here is going to be a pain in the ass. I'm going to battle my own airlifter and then just pass back over to my opponent, who just passes right back over to me. Okay, we definitely take that for sure. Normal summon airlifter is definitely not bad here. I'm going to normal summon and activate. Opponent is going to once again negate and steal with the UDF. I'm fairly okay with this, because now I can just battle, deal a little bit of damage with the whale that my opponent still is not able to get over here. Okay, now they're going to normal summon a Bunny Blast. I think they're finally about to challenge my whale. Oh, wait, I remember what they do here. It's actually kind of funny. So they summon Tiger Mortar. I'm going to fire off the Promethean Princess effect just to make their UDF use its last material. But what they actually do is activate Tiger Mortar's effect and put another material onto the UDF, so I do actually end up having to deal with it again later. Alright, from here they're going for Borbo, and the Borbo into Zeus looks really scary here, but Zeus is actually 100% fine for me here, because I really want this UDF gone. This Utopic Draco future is so annoying right now. And Zeus sends, it doesn't destroy, so Zeus will actually clear here. So I move to battle, and they actually just let me battle over their Zeus. That Zeus actually ended up being completely pointless for them to make, because their UDF is just more valuable here. Anyway, main phase 2, I'll activate the field spell. I get to draw a rescue, which is nice. I get to add the airlifter back, or summon the airlifter back to my field. Opponent's not going to negate this one with the UDF, I'm guessing because they have one more material. They want to be at least a little bit more picky, but... Alright, normal summon Fractal. Fractal's going to banish 4 for the Shurig. It's not looking the best for me here. Shurig F. I'm going to chain the Promethean Princess to destroy the Airlifter plus the Shurig, but they do have that material on the UDF, so that's going to proc. I'll chain the Alert here, but I don't really expect it to do much, honestly. Oh, I do get to add back Impulse and potentially use that effect later in the turn. Okay, Fractal is going to sack itself. I'm going to chain the Ash Blossom here, thinking that I was stopping them from getting like a Tri-Brigade Roar that was going to negate my Whale. But they actually had the triple attack, which is, of course, very, very brutal, and will just represent lethal via direct damage here. So, GG's, BYM. I definitely misplayed super hard right at the beginning. I've been misplaying with Wanted this whole video, but this time it actually did come back to bite me with the Droll there. So, again, do as I say, not as I do. If you have Wanted in hand, use it during the draw phase. Just use it and not have to worry about the Droll for at least a little bit while longer there. But that will do it for this video. Thank you very much for watching these games. Let us move now to our outro. Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of the video. That means a lot to me. It's also a great way to support the channel, so thank you very much in that way as well. If you're interested in supporting the channel in other ways, like the very special patrons that I am thanking here, you can do so by checking out some of the links in the description. One of those goes to the Patreon, where you can join these fine folk and support the channel that way. I do post daily content over on Patreon, so you do get something for support there. And if you're interested, I also have a coaching tier option as well. Details again will be on Patreon in the link below. Also in the description linked below is my Twitch page where I stream a few times a week. You can go ahead and check that out, follow or subscribe over there if you ever want to catch me live. You'll also find my second YouTube channel if you feel like subscribing over there to watch some of the Twitch VODs as well as some additional non-Yu-Gi-Oh related content that I make over there. Again, any of those links you want to check out is all a great way of supporting. But again, even if you don't do that, just watching was also a fantastic way to support. And once again, I have to thank you so very much. But in any case, this is Hexlex. I'm going to be signing out, and I'm hoping you have a fantastic day.